Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of the Couch Crocheter. We're at episode 108, works in progress for this week. I have a few things in the works and I don't know about some of them. Hi friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Couch Crocheter. I have 3 works in progress that I wanted to share with you guys. The first one that I'm going to go over I have done before. I'm making a second one of it. It is the Grateful Dead Dancing Bear Hood crochet pattern. I did get a special request for this that I do need to finish up. I believe by possibly September. So I have a little bit to go, but I just started working on it. First, I'll go over the yarn with you. The yarn that I'm using that I chose is Studio Classic by Nicole. It is 100% acrylic, approximately 372 yards, 340 meters, 200 grams and 7 ounces. It is a medium weight number 4. The recommended needle size is a US 8 or 5 millimeter. The recommended hook size is a 5.5 millimeter or an I9. Machine wash warm, do not bleach, tumble dry low. The color is red and is made in Turkey. Now, I do know that this is no longer available as far as I know because this wasn't AC Moore yarn, but there's the label. And here is what the yarn I'm working with. Here's the color, but it's just a little mumble jumbled. So it does have, you do the back of it, like the headpiece here, and then work around the hood, and then make 2 ears, attach those, and then work on the dancing bear beard or cape, however you want to look at it. I will link down below where I got this pattern, and I'll tell you now, it is, again, called Grateful Dead Dancing Bear Hood Crochet Pattern. It is a paid-for pattern. At the time, I believe I paid $7 for it. And it is by Hannah Martin. And her Etsy shop is www.ofmars.etsy.com. So, I finished up okay, so I am making this, okay, long story short, I wore this to I wore mine that I made to a festival, and that's in another video, way back when. I want to say it might have been around November, December is when I finally figured it out and finished. I purchased this pattern over 2 years ago. I started working on it. I figured out the pattern of the back of it. I figured out the pattern of the hood. I figured out the pattern of both of the ears. I attached the ears. And then I got stuck on adding the collar part, as it says here, but I call it the beard. I got stuck there, and then I figured it out, and I finished it. So I wore it to a festival at the beginning of this year, which I want to say was maybe March. Maybe April. I don't remember. So I wore it to a festival, and one of my very dear friends fell in love with it, so she wanted one for her son. So I think the one that I made for myself is a little big for my head. And keep in mind, guys, like normally I have curly hair, and when I do plan on wearing this, my hair will be down, because I will be wearing it in the winter, and that adds insulation. And I only wear my hair up in a bun when it's like, 90 degrees and humid and I don't feel like dealing with it. So I even thought then, like, the hood part was a little too big. Now, back when I did this, I was just beginning when I tried to, because this is only the second pattern that I ever tried to figure out. The first one was a little lion out of a book that I think is either from Annie's Crochet or Crochet World or something like that. It's one of the little books. It has like little tiny animals in it, amigurumis. I read that pattern and I was like, oh, I'm on top of the world. I can figure any pattern out. I read this one. So I bought this $7 pattern, which at the time I was like, this is nuts. I don't know why I'm doing this. So I finally figured it out, and I thought that, when I first had made it, I was just learning how to crochet still. So I made it a little loosey-goosey. So not only, so the pattern calls for a number 4, and let me just, verify this, because I did read it before I got on to make this video. It does call for, actually, it doesn't say what yarn. It just says yarn. In the pattern, she uses a roving yarn, and I believe it's either Red Heart. Actually, I think she uses Red Heart Incredible in her pattern. So that's a roving, but it's still considered a number 4. So I used a number 4. And she calls for 5.5 millimeter, which is a I9. I'm using an H, 5.5, because this particular one is for someone who is 10 years old. So he does have a smaller head. And if I thought mine was a little bigger on this big head with this big hair, I need to go down a hook size. So I did this one in an H. So here's how far I got with the hood. So again, first you do this piece, then they tell you your stitch count, and then they tell you how to do this part, and then they tell you how to connect it. Oops, one of my hairs attached to it here. And then here is one of the ears that have started. Now I don't think, or maybe I did, yeah, I did finish this ear. Yeah, he is done. So here's one of the ears. And then when you attach it, they want you to attach it kind of like in a bowl shaped, or like a U shaped almost. So it naturally cups over like a bear's ear would, like it cups over. So I made one ear and the back and the body of the hood. Now I'm going to try this on, and hopefully I don't stretch it out too much because of my big head. But here's like see, that fits. Oh my gosh. See, I even think, even as my adult head, and I don't know if it looks too small. I have no idea if I look ridiculous right now. But I even feel like, even with my big head and my big hair, this feels so much better. Like my other one is like, and it like bows in on itself. And the ears are always collapsing, or it's like off to the side. I like it in an H much more. So then one ear will go approximately around here, bowed in. I don't even know, because I can't see myself if I look ridiculous right now. One will be there, and then the other one will be maybe about there. I don't know. Like, again, we'll have to, attach them and see. I'm going to get it because it was too hot and I was too lazy and too tired. Ugh. So, oh, I was right at the first time. It's Crafter Secrets Big Idea. I said Crafter Secrets at first, and I thought it was Crafter, I forget. But I did say Crafter Secrets first. But actually I said Crafter Secrets, not Crafter's Secret. Big Idea. So this is then what I'm going to use to make the beard part of it. And let me see, since they're together. Oh, yes. Yes, I was exactly right. This is a little softer than your normal, 4-ply yarn. And this softness definitely matches. So I'm so excited that I chose right. So here's the two of those that I got, because no fiber person, again, should be without black yarn. So next I will be doing the other ear, attaching them both, and figuring out again, because I probably have to relearn or reteach myself and or keep trying how to attach the thingy, because I think that I forget. I didn't read too far ahead this time. I'm just going to take, piece by piece. I'm not going to get too ahead of myself. So the second project, and this is the one that I don't know why I'm doing it. I don't know why I torture myself sometimes. I have these great ideas and I follow through, and then I think, Dawn, you're a nut. You're just nuts. You're just crazy. Excuse me. So a little while back, there is freshly brewed iced coffee in my mug tonight. We have started making our own coffee at home to save money. Anywho, so a little while ago, I might have posted 2 videos about the corner to corner that I just learned. I did 1 corner to corner like a trial just to see if I could do it. Ended up making myself a pillow out of it. Honey loved my pillow. He wanted a pillow, so I made another rectangle and I sewed that all up together, and that is his pillow. So then I thought I really, really want to make a like wrap scarf type, really flowy, thin yarn, corner to corner rectangle wrap thing. So that's what I'm doing. And it's taking forever. Forever and ever and ever. The pattern that I adapted to make this is Jada in Stitches, How to Crochet Corner to Corner Blanket. Hold on here. And I'm using this the third time that I'm using this referenced pattern. You'd think I'd know what it was called by now, but I don't. Corner to corner. Yeah. C to C, corner to corner baby blanket, triangle crochet pattern and tutorial. And it's Jada in Stitches. And I'll leave that down below. And like I said, like I adapted a little bit, because where she said to go as long as you wanted the blanket, I went as long as I wanted this wrap to be once it is blocked. And now, right now, I'm working on the length. So I'm just going to shorten her length, and then I'll refer back to it if I don't remember right away how to then make it go from a diagonal to build up and stop at this corner up here of the wrap. So I am using an I-9 hook, and it's a 5.5 millimeter, and I'm using my soft grip one. And I am working on, like I said, the rectangle part of it going this way to make it longer. So the thin yarn that I chose was Necks, as in your neck, Neck''S, Best Thing, and it is by Lion Brand Yarns. It is considered a light number 3. It's 5.3 ounces, 150 grams, 525 yards, or 480 meters. It is 90% acrylic and 10% wool. Machine wash, gentle, lay flat to dry. Recommended needle size is a 4 or 3.5 millimeter. Recommended hook size is an F, size 5 or a 3.75 millimeter. Now that is teeny, teeny, tiny, and I will not go below anything below an H. So I would not use that with this yarn anyway. But I am using a bigger hook because I did want to have a little bit of drapery. I thought about going actually to a J, but then I thought it would be too much, and if it did stretch out a little bit with wear, there'd be like ginormous gapping holes in between the blocks that I did not want. The color that I chose was Lilac Rose. So here's what I haven't used out of this skein yet. Or, yeah, this cake, I'm sorry. It's not a cane, it's a cake. So that's what I didn't use out of the cake. And again, it's Necks, as in your neck. Best Thing by Lion Brand. So I will insert a picture of it here on the floor because I do believe it is already too big for the back of the couch as to how it looks so far. Now, one side is a little bit bigger where I started than the other, and I'll fix that when I block it. It's all going to be a little bit different tension because I am not sitting down working on this all at once. It is a slow work because the yarn is so thin, guys. And this is considered a number 3, but I really don't think so. I think this is a number 2. And I only think that they considered a number 3 is because it is roving. Let me see if I can show you examples of 2 different weights of yarn within the same skein, which is why, or cake, which is why they consider it roving. So if you look at this bright pink over here, it's thick. That reminds me of like almost a number 3, closer to a number 4. This one over here, this dark deep purple, is almost a number 1 or excuse me guys, the humidity today was a lot, and it very, very hard to breathe when it's like, you know, real hot and humid, and allergies are horrible. So this one is more of a number 1 or a number 2. This is more like a really thicker number 3, closer to a number 4. So I do believe that that is why they considered a light number 3. But I really think that this works up regardless of the roving part of it, like a number 2. It is taking forever, guys, forever. And I know I did this to myself, and I said that I wouldn't work on these types of projects because it does kill my wrist, which is why it's a slower work progress. And it does take forever, and I kind of get, like, overwhelmed at the lack of progress. Yes, overwhelmed by the lack of progress. So this one, I believe, will be in my works of progress pile for a little while. I think I'm going to use up this skein, or this cake, entirely. And then I think I might go as far as I can with the second cake in order to finish off only using 2 cakes, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to go, yeah, that makes sense. So I'm going to then intentionally use, by the end of this project, 2 cakes of this. And again, it's 525 yards. So that'll be 1,050 yards worth of what I'm considering a number 2 weight yarn. So this is another one that's going to be like, whew, a little while before it's done. I anticipate that getting done second. This project here, the third one that I'm going to show you, is going to get done first. Then that one's going to be second. And then I'm going to make one other thing while I'm doing, well, this one's going to be like a take along with me to, you know, the sister's house or home or a tournament or on the road when we're doing a road trip, or, you know what I mean? Like, this is going to be the one that's on to go project. This will be make here project so I can concentrate, and that one, until I get the swing of it, will be a make here project as well. You know, because you always have to have something on the go, and you always have to have something that, you know, you actually have to concentrate on and count and, you know, do a good, not a good job, because I'll do a good job on the other ones, but you guys know what I mean. Okay. So now the third project that I'm working on. Out of this book, I just went over in the last video, Whimsical Stitches, a Modern Maker's Book of Amigurumi Crochet Patterns by Lauren S.B. Here's what the cover of the book looks like once again. I have so far made two things out of this book. 2 things. I have made the large cupcake, which looks like this. And I'm using him as a pin cushion for when I block my projects. I have made a blueberry out of the book. And him I just showcased in my last video, which was finished objects, or FOs. And then as soon as I finished the blueberry, we were up here still with Honey that night. And again, I was like, babe, I'm like, just pick out something from the book again. Like, help me out here, because I just don't, I get so like overwhelmed with like, oh, that's cool, and that's cool, and that's cool. And then I sit there and like, I dwell on the pattern. I think about how many parts are in it. And then I either get discouraged from how many parts are in it, or I get kind of like bummed out because I don't know which one I want to make out of like these three, or like, you know, it's just very overwhelming for me sometimes to pick something out of a book such as these. Like this one and the Kawagi books. It's very hard for me to pick something. So I really like having Honey pick something out where it doesn't matter to him how easy it is, how challenging it is, how many parts it has. You know, he doesn't think about, do I have that color? He doesn't think about, you know, and then that allows me to, you know, take that pressure off of me of making the decision of what to make next. And then be creative as to picking out the colors and not having to down myself. And then I don't want to say no to him or anybody else. I have a problem doing that. Sometimes. Other times I have no problem saying no. But then it allows me to be creative by picking out the colors. So if I don't have, you know, what color do I have? Brown. If I don't have the dark brown for the pretzel, well, you know what? I just made a yellow pretzel, and now it is a cheddar cheese inspired pretzel. You know what I mean? So like, he won't think about that, where I will. And then I just make it because A, I don't want to disappoint him, and I don't want to not make it because he's now excited because he loves the way these things turn out. He thinks bigger is better on some of these things. He absolutely adored the blueberry. He's like, see, babe, I told you can do it, and I knew it would turn out awesome. Like, he is so encouraging. So he is the one who also picked out this pattern. And thank you, baby. It is turning out wonderful, and I'm very much enjoying it. And it is not overwhelming like you said it would not be with all the parts. But he picked out the turtle that is in this book. It says it should call for a, you know, they don't ever have, oh yeah, it does, a G or a 4.25 millimeter crochet hook, H8, 5.5 millimeter. And it calls for a 4.25. So I'm not that far off. But again, I won't go anything below an H hook because it just hurts my hands. So here is what this guy is supposed to look like. So what I have done so far is, here is the bottom of his shell. Whoops. The bottom of his shell. So this is his belly. And I made this the other night when I finished up the blueberry and we were sitting up here chilling in the AC. So that's the bottom. And then, oh, and that I used this brown here. And this brown is left over from the ocean blanket that I made for my niece, the ocean waves blanket, where it's like two browns and then goes up into the ocean where it's blue and a chevron. So I made one of those for her, and this is left over. And that one is Handmade Modern Worsted Yarn. This is from Target, 100% acrylic. Originally it had 219 yards, 200 meters, 3.5 ounces, or 100 grams. I don't know how much, is left over in this ball or whatever. It is a number 4 recommended needle and hook size is both a 5.5 millimeter or a US H8, which is what I'm using. It is made in, origin is India. And the color is, and I'm probably not saying this right, Cafe Elote. Cafe Elote. Cafe Elote. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But I'm going to guesstimate that I probably used about 20, 25 yards of this guy. Not a lot at all. Like, at all. Maybe 20 yards to start the guy. So I did him, and that's the only part that's in that color. So then we moved on, according to the book, to his head. Okay, so next in the book, it says to do the head. Now, I did not put on the nostrils or the face yet, because I am going to paint them on afterwards. Now, I kind of think I might have messed up, but I think that I do have a way of fixing it. And I guess I should have maybe realized, but in the pattern, it stops at row 11 for the head, this is. And then it says, add the safety eyes and stitch mouth. For the nose, make 2 little knots above the mouth. Okay, no problem. And then it says, do row 12, 13, stuff the head. Do 14, your last increase, fasten off, and close your piece. So that's what I did. So I added the eyes exactly where they told me to at the end of row 11. So I did, and then I finished it off, and now I think that he is not looking proper. I think he's kind of like looking down, like very sad and dismal, and I think that he is not going to look right. Because when you attach him to the turtle shell, you attach him just about row 20. Oh, place the head about 2 rows above row 20 from the shell. There's 21 total rows from the shell. So you're placing him at row 18. I still think, oh, and you're not placing him from like here. You're placing him from here. So I still think if I place him here, like he's going to look very sad. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't want to redo it by any means. But I don't want him to look sad. I mean, you know, I don't know. But then if I do it this way, then he looks like he's a little, you know, I don't know. He looks weird. He looks like he's got Google eyes. Because that's about where we'll attach it. So what do you guys think? Eyes like this? Or eyes like that? A, B. I'm not going to attach him until I hear back from you guys, because I don't want him to look sad. And I don't want him to look like he's got like big old poofy googly eyes that don't belong on his head. But I did what it told me to do. And even in the pattern, like even in the picture, you can see that's what I did. But it don't look the same. This actually looks like it's between row 10 and 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Are there 12 rows? No, there's 14. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In the picture, it says it's between row 9. It looks like it's between row 9 and 10. I did it all in between row 10 and 11. I don't know. Are turtles' eyes way down there? I didn't think so. I don't know. Anywho, the head is done as well as the tummy. So then next it says make 2 front legs. I so far have 1 front leg. And it does say to fasten off, trim tail, and add a little bit of stuffing to the leg. So this is one of his legs, his front legs. So I have 1 more front leg, 2 back legs, a shell, and then put them all together. But I'm going to wait to attach his head to the shell until I hear back from you guys to think if I should do A, where he looks maybe a little bit sad and you think it'll turn out okay, or B, where he looks a little googly-eyed and he looks like he might be, you know, part turtle, part frog. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I will wait to see what your guys' opinion is. Again, I really don't want to start over because then it's a waste of googly eyes. It's a waste of stuffing. It's a waste of yarn and a waste of time and creative energy. So I still have a little bit to go on him. So guys, that is all at the moment. Those 3 things that I have in works in progress. And like I said, I want to finish the turtle first, then finish the Grateful Dead Dancing Bear hoodie. And then as I'm doing those on away projects, I will be working on the corner to corner wrap scarf necks, as in your necks, best thing project. So I am going to finish tonight. I don't want to do that. I might ruin my bug. We'll just put you in there. Oh, wait, that's not where I am. I still have 1 foot and 2 back legs to make. And then we will stick you in with, yep, you're the turtle shell that I've picked out, and with you, so I don't get all confused. And you, and you, and you, and you, and you. Getting it. Everybody in the bag. And then you also go in the bag. Project bag number 2. Okay. Actually, it's project bag number 3. Okay, I'm going to finish off my video, as I always do, normally, not always, with a reading from Melody Bee Time. Journey to the Heart Daily Meditation on the Path of Freeing Your Soul. And I do believe that we are on February 21st. Let love be. You can't control love. It's impossible. It's like screaming and screeching and begging a rose to unfold faster, better, or differently. Love is an energy, an active living force that runs its threads through all of our life, through all of the universe. But we can't control love. It is not its nature to be controlled. It's futile to stand with our own hands in our pockets and heels dug into the ground and say, I shall control the course of love, or I shall allow another to control me because I am afraid love will go away. We can open our hearts and let love run through us. We can open our hearts and receive love. We can open our eyes and see universal love all around us, in places we've never saw it before. We can awaken our souls and see that all those experiences have been lessons of love. Learning courage, faith, patience. Learning to love ourselves when it looked and felt as no one else did. Learning to express our creativity, express our emotions, and express joy. Each one has a lesson of love. We have learned to let love be and be open to what that is, the new direction, and it may lead us in. Love is a powerful living force that permeates the universe and funnels through us. We don't lead it. It leads us and guides us. Honor the guidance of our heart, and you will be honoring the guidance of love. Friends, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for stopping by. And don't forget to leave down in the comments below whether you want semi-sad turtle eyes of A option or kind of froggy, googly eyes of B option for how to put my head on my turtle. Because I don't know. Friends, be safe and stay groovy. Bye.